off the loom. That's what it looks like. Minion Totem Pole bracelet. Hi everyone, this is Victoria. I've filmed a tutorial for you to show you how to make a minion bracelet. It's just going off Chantel's that she posted on Instagram over the last couple of days, and I have added my own pattern to braceletbook.com, so it's up to you which one you would like to do. I was starting off with this one because I was waiting for my pattern to become available online, but now I've slipped this into the start. You can see and decide how you would like to do it. And also I just wanted to let you know that my band selection, basically the ones I use for this bracelet are just cheap latex free bands, no brand. I got them off eBay. Well, most of my good band hauls I have posted onto Instagram, and of course I have to be different, so I am going to change my design slightly, but we're all going to start it exactly the same way. Starting from the first minion. To start with your rainbow loom, we're only going to use 2 of the lines of pegs, and they're going to be in normal formation, straight next to each other, like so. I'm going to take the center piece out, so we're just going to have it like this. Might move that one down so you can see the arrow a little bit better. And we're ready to loom. Okay, so I've got all my bands set out now, the colours that I've chosen. I've got my pattern here. We're going to be working crossways. So our first line is the top of the head. Now I've decided that my background is going to be light blue instead of white, and then the other colours are all much the same. Now you'll have to excuse my fingers as I did refill my ink cartridge this morning. I'm not very good at doing that job, but we got there in the end. So let's start with our end to start our bracelet. I'm going to start it with the light blue because that is going to be my background colour. We're going to start on the peg that is pointing at the arrow. We're going to take one band and we're going to double it. We'll be working with single doubled bands, so cap bands throughout the whole design. Next band is going to be a single tripled. So I'm going to grab it and wrap it around the pegs 3 times. This will just help our design stay the right shape at the end. So another band single doubled. Another band single doubled. Again. So this design has got 7 rows. Each box basically represents a peg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I'm going to start 1 peg back, so we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to lay our last band to that peg. So it's your 8th peg. 1, 2. Your 9th peg from the end. And I've started from where the arrow is. So we've got single cap, single triple cap, single, 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 single caps all the way down. Okay, for this last peg here, we are going to do a cap band, but I'm going to take the single rubber band and double it in my fingers. Then I'm going to take that band and I'm going to wrap it around the peg 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. So we have our straight line chain down. Now we're going to loom that chain up. So in behind that very tight cap band, bottom doubled band up and to the top, and then following it up. Now this is your single tripled cap band there, so it is going to be nice and tight, just be very careful with it. I'm holding my other bands down as I'm grabbing it, pulling it up to help my tension. Now this last one here, we're just going to turn into a slip knot. So we're going to grab it up to the top and then bring the bottom one up and over the top. So now that's there. Slip knot, all these cap bands, and I'm going to grab that cord that I have slip knot and I'm going to put it around the two pegs there. Push all of these ones down, and that's what it should look like. Now we can start our first line of our pattern. So my first line, I'm doing my outline is the light blue, so I'll go light blue and then 5 yellows and then light blue. Each one of these boxes basically represents a peg, so not including that one, we are going to be working on these 7 pegs. So we'll start with the first one as a light blue. I'm going to single double it and I'm going to lay it across from this peg to that peg. My next one, I'm going to do 5 yellows, so I'm going to single double, 1 yellow, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And the last one I'm doing is a light blue. Single double and on the end there. So that's our first line, chain along the bottom and our first row. Now we're just going to bring our bottom chain over the top and into the middle. So we'll start with our bottom cap band. It's very tight, so hold the rest of the bands and carefully grab all of those bands, bring it up and into the middle, making sure you don't lose your top cap band. Onto the next and the same thing, all the way up the line, so that what you will end up with, the last tight cap band, is your chain in between your first row of your design. So I'm just going to keep this here for my first couple of rows, just because it tends to hold it nicely. And now we will push all of our bands down, and we're going to lay our centre bands, which are the bands that hold our design together, that run across. So this design's good because down each side is basically mirrored. I'm not going to use clear bands, I'm just going to use the colours that I've chosen for my design. So my next line has yellows on either side and then silver for the start of the glide. I'm going to use yellow because either side is yellow. So I'll grab a yellow band, stretch it out, not too harshly, and then lay it directly across all of my bands there, all of my pegs. Leave that there, and now we're going to lay the next row straight across. So I've got 2 yellow on the side, and I'm starting the glasses, so I've got 3 silver or grey, or whatever colour you would like to use. And then we've got 2 more yellow. So I've got my bottom row, which was the first line of the pattern we lay. Then we've got that one band running across all of your bars. Then we've got the top row that we've just laid down, which is the next row of our pattern. What we're going to do now is bring that cross band straight up and over into the middle, and then we are going to loom our bottom row up and over the top. So I might start from the bottom, doesn't matter really where you start. We're just going to go up and over the top from the bottom into the middle, all of those till you get to the last peg of the pattern. Flip it over and do the same on the opposite side. Making sure you're only grabbing the bottom bands. It will look like two bands, but it is a single doubled. And then pushing that pattern down. So that's what it should look like. You have got just one row of bands, which was the second line of the design that we have laid down. So now we're going to move on to the third row. It has a yellow on outside as well, so I'm going to use a yellow again as my centre band. Give it a little bit of a stretch. Straight across those 7 pegs. Now I'm going to do the next row of the design. Yellow. Silver. And then white for the eye. Three white, another silver for the outside of the glasses, and a yellow for the side of the head. So now I've got my bottom row, which was the previous line of the pattern, that cross band there, and then I've got the row that I just lay on top, which is the next line of the pattern. So we're going to grab that centre lying band, bring it up and over into the middle. See, they're nice and neat. Start looming your bottom row up and over the top and into the middle of your design. So you will see that your design will feed down and through the middle of your rainbow loom. So we've done the same on both sides. Brought that bottom row up over the top and into the middle, and then pushed the top row down, just that line of the last part of the design that we lay. We're going to move on to the next. For me is the middle of the glasses, so it's black on the outsides. So this time I'm going to use a black band as my centre lying band. Straight across those 7 pegs, and then starting with the next row of the design. Black single doubled, silver, the whites of the eyes, black pupil, and the same on the other side. Okay, so I've done that row, done that one, and I've just gotten up to that one. So that's halfway through the glasses. Should look like that again. Bottom row from the previous line, centre lying band, and then the line of the design that we just lay. Okay, so I've brought my centre band up into the middle, and I'm just going to loom my bottom row up and over the top. Now you can pause and rewind if I'm going too fast for anybody. Skip ahead, it's completely up to you. So I've gone down the other side, so the same on both sides, pushing all of my bands down and onto my next row. So it's going to be a yellow band. You don't want to forget your centre bands. This is what holds your design together. So it's a yellow on both sides. Silver for the glasses. 3 whites for the others. Another silver. So that's another line done. Bring our centre lying band up into the middle. And now bringing our bottom row up and over into the centre. Like I said, it doesn't really matter where you start as long as you end up with all of your bottom bands up and over the top. Try not to pull them too much to any specific side, because that will make a difference with your pattern when it comes off the loom. You will just have to fiddle with it more to get it the right shape. Another line done. On to the next. 2 yellow again across the middle. Or should I say 2 on either side, so 1 yellow across the middle. And starting with the next line of the pattern. Silver for the bottom of the glasses. And then 2 yellow again. So that's another row done. We've finished all the way down to the glasses. Next row will be just plain yellow. So I'll bring my middle band up to the centre, and then looming my bottom row, pardon me, up and over into the middle. Sorry, bit off angle, and the other side. Pushing all my bands down. Now you can see your pattern is starting to feed through the bottom. I'm going to remove this end band now and just let it go. Let it dangle through there. And grab onto that. And now we've just got those on the pegs. Just your 7 pegs that you're using for your design. So onto my next row, yellow band across the centre, and it's just going to be all yellow. centre line, middle band up over the top, then bottom row, bottom row bands, straight down one side, back up the other. Pushing that line of bands down. It's getting a bit harder because it is coming through the bottom, but you can also use that to pull through gently. So now we're up to the last line of the first minion with the boots. Outside squares of blue, so we're going to do light blue centerline band and a light blue on each of the outside, and then 4 plain black down the middle. Now grabbing that center middle band up and over the top, and our bottom row up and over the top, straight down one side, back up the other. So that, on our design, is one minion done. Now you're just going to do the same thing all over again, just following on with the design. So your next row will be the same as the first one, and just follow it on. Make your bracelet as long as you like. There's my first minion, he's in there. His boots are down here, and as that feeds out more, you will see more minions. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop it there, and I'm going to keep looming my bracelet. So I will see you back again in a minute, and I'll show you how to close off your bracelet. I've just done my last line of my design, and surprise, that is the design that I ended up doing for my bracelet. And now we are up to closing it off. What we are going to do, we're going to move every band that's on these pegs over onto their opposing pegs. So we're just going to go that band. Sorry about my light because it is late here now. Straight over onto the peg opposite. Same with the next. And the next. Lucky last. Now I have all of my bands along my bottom row. On the top row we are going to lay a chain exactly the same as we did at the start. So I'm going to be using all light blue because that is my outside background colour. First one is going from the second peg to the third, single doubled. Second one is going from the third to the fourth, and it's a single tripled. 1, 2, 3. Right. And then down the rest are cap bands, single doubled, straight down, till we get to the last peg of our design. Now, we will be putting a cap band on there, but I will be moving all these bands back across and over. So starting from the top, grabbing from the bottom, picking it up onto your finger and just transferring it, all of the bands that are on that peg. So it's really just one band doubled and then folded back onto itself. But that tension is nice and tight, so just be careful. Grabbing all the bands up and onto their opposite peg. All the way down to our last bands. Okay, so I'll flip it around so that you can see. I'm going to shift my bottom row of my chain down so they're more prominent. Okay, so now if you are wanting to join your bracelet so that it is a cuff, you can basically grab each one of the loops in the chain that we made at the start and put each one of them onto a peg. Then you will be looming your chain up and through. This is very tight. It is very easy to snap bands doing it this way. So I'm going to close it with a button or a bead. I'll close it up as I would my belt, just like this. But you've got that option to do it however you like. I'm going to do a cap band on this bottom peg. So I'm going to single double and then I'm going to wrap it around there 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to go underneath and behind all of these bands and just grab the bottom bands, which are our chain, to bring back and chain onto itself. So reaching in, I'm going to turn it this way just because it's easier for me. In behind all of those bands. Just grabbing the bottom. So once you've got it up, grab it with your finger. Releasing some of the tension. We're going to go in behind the next one, all the way to the bottom to grab just those 2, that single doubled, sorry, and carefully, grab it with your fingers and bring it up onto the next one, and again down right to the bottom, grab that band, bringing it up. Right to the bottom. Just that single doubled in the chain, and we're nearly done. Keep going with the next one. Releasing the tension with my fingers. Now this last one here, from your 4th back to your 3rd, is that single tripled. This is very tight. So try and release as much of the tension as you can. And up and over. Once again, I'm sorry about my bad lighting. Last band. This is going to be a slip knot. This is finishing our design. So bringing the bottom straight over. And there's our slip knot there. You can remove your design from the loom nice and gently. The last thing we want to do is snap a band right at the end. Okay, so here it is. How I'm going to join it is I'm going to get this bead and I'm going to go, this is the end that we looped up and closed it off. See the feet there? This one here, that slip knot, so it's finishing our design. So what we want to do is hide that away. I'm going to slip my hook, I'm just going to weave it through the bands, and I'm going to grab it and I'm going to hide it so that it doesn't get caught. So once we have gotten that, and we've hidden it away a little bit better, that's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little tag off because we don't need it anymore. That was just to remind me that my arrow for my loom was on that side, and that's where it was feeding through, so that's why I left that there. I want this bracelet to come around like so. I want this bead to come up through the middle of there. Make it pretty even. I'm going to put it so that those two guys overlap, so that my bracelet has one of each of the different guys visible. So I'm going to grab a piece of wire or floss or whatever you can find around the house, basically that you can slip elastic band onto. Then I'm going to pop it through my bead and I'm going to pull the elastic band through, or the loom band should I say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up from the back straight through, well, the side that you choose to be the back, because it doesn't really matter. Going to grab one end, pull it through completely to the other side. We are going to wrap around the center row, and we want to put that elastic band back through the other side. So I'll stick my hook through, grab that band, and we are pulling it through. I am going to loop that straight over so it's caught onto there like a slip knot, And then I'm going to do the exact same thing with this side. Poke my hook back up through. Where that band is coming out. Grab the other band from the opposite end of the bead and pull it through. Take it around the same spot. Up, and I'm going to wrap it around the bead just twice, because it doesn't need to be super tight. It just needs to hold it there. So there you have it. So I've gone up the other end and I've wrapped it around the bead. So now you're finished. Should be able to go through around the same spot in the belly. It's going to be off to one side because we're 7 rows. If it was 6 it would be dead in the middle, but because we're 7 it has to be off to one side. You will spread your pattern open and you will just push the bead through. And there you have it. An awesome minion bracelet. If you've got Instagram, pop your picture up, tag us so that we can see. I know Jentel and I would both love to see it. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.